Good morning. Create. I love the word create. Do you guys like it? Create is awesome. It's an action word. It means that you're doing something, you're moving forward, you're progressing. I also love the word co-create because that means you get to share it with others as you're doing that. I really like the word procreate, but that's a whole different presentation. My wife probably wouldn't like me saying that. She's in the back. I love to create opportunities, to create experiences, to create memories, things that you can take with you, ways that you can help others. But to do that, we're going to talk about two very critical principles that will help you to live a life unfrozen. And I'll explain what that means, but first I need to take you back a little bit. You need to take a little trip with me. So let's picture if you're looking at this mountain, this is Mount Bachelor in Bend, Oregon. Almost 16 years ago, I was on this ski hill with my brother-in-law 3 days before Christmas. Now, at that time in our lives, my wife and I had been married for 4.5 years. We had bought our first home. My career was taking off. Everything was wonderful. We had 2 little kids. We had a 2.5-year-old girl named Senia and a almost 1-year-old boy named Kyler. And I've actually never shown these pictures before. I just scanned them a couple weeks ago. These are our little kids. You might notice something different in these pictures from what you see me today. Maybe you didn't. I'm in a wheelchair. Let's make that clear. So I'm ready to ski down this hill, and here's what I see. It's lightly snowing. There's a big jump ahead of me. There's 30 people down watching off to the right, about 80 yards ahead. And I'm waiting for my turn. And it's time. So I start heading down the hill. I'm going through the snow. I'm coming up on this jump. All these people are watching. And my confidence, because I'm a snow skier. How many of you guys snow ski or snowboard? Right? A lot. It's fun. And as I come up on the jump, all that confidence of mine started to turn to cockiness, because then I know everybody's watching. This is going to be big. I'm going to hit this hard. It's going to be wonderful. And instead of slowing down a little bit and hitting it right, I tucked in tight. I went straight in. And I came off that jump too hard. I went 30 feet into the air, which is taller than this ceiling. I didn't want to go that high, and I rotated backwards, coming down, landing on my neck, and instantly paralyzing me. A day later, my wife and I were told that most likely I would never walk for the rest of my life. But I didn't believe it, and neither did my wife. We're both very positive people. But this is what I looked like. I had all these tubes and wires, a halo. I had a breathing tube in. I couldn't even talk to my wife for weeks. It was very difficult, but I knew that I would walk again. There was no doubt in my mind. So over the next year, I worked extremely hard to get as healthy as I possibly could. And I say we, because my wife came with me on it. We were creating a new life together. We're going to use that create word. If you take notes, get ready to write. We worked very hard, and I got back full use, well, not full, almost full use of my upper body, and my legs were starting to move just a tiny bit. Not much, but they were moving. I would walk. I may not run around the mountains again, but I will walk again. And I got healthy, and I got stronger, and I started to work full-time again. I had a truck equipped so that I could drive, because they tried to put me in a minivan, and I thought, come on, I'm paralyzed. Don't kick me while I'm down and put me in a minivan. Give me a break. So we had a truck equipped so that I can drive. Our lives were starting to become a new normal again, but then I came down with pneumonia one night. and I went unconscious in my sleep. They rushed me into the hospital. They get me up on the x-ray table and take some shots of my lungs. And while I'm sitting on the x-ray table and I'm still unconscious, I fell off the x-ray table and broke my neck again. This time higher up. And I lost the use of my hands, my triceps, and everything from the chest down. And I haven't regained any of that. That's a lie. Some of you may have heard me speak, but I can move my middle finger just a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out what to use that for, but I can use my middle finger just a little bit. So, what I learned really quickly though, the first time that I broke my neck, I was physically paralyzed. You can see that. That's pretty obvious. But the second time I broke my neck, and I realized that now I can't get back what I want to do, I became mentally paralyzed. Not literally, like my wife claims, but I became mentally paralyzed because now all my dreams, all these things that I've wanted to do, aren't going to happen the way I pictured it. They're not the way that I want it to be. And so I became frozen. I was stuck. And I struggled with, I still deal with a lot of pain. But I struggled with depression. I didn't want to admit it. I didn't admit it for years. I don't like to admit it now, but I did. I struggled with a lot of frustration, a lot of doubt, a lot of guilt. The guilt that I feel, it's not the matter that I can't do things that I always wanted to do. It's that I feel I robbed my wife of the guy that she married. And all those dreams of being able to have a husband who, when she falls asleep on the couch watching a movie, that could pick her up and take her into bed. Or to stand next to her and wash the dishes. I took that from her. My kids never get to have a dad like other dads who gets to run around at the park with them and pick them up and go out and play basketball with them. I want to dunk on my 16-year-old son so bad. I took those things from him, and that kills me, and that makes me be frozen. But we like to live. So whatever you believe in, whatever your passion is, if you are creating a business and you want it to be successful, start with the motion. Start doing things consistently. Start bringing in. You gotta get uncomfortable. Get used to being uncomfortable. Get used to sitting on the ground and trying to make your legs move with your arms. If you want that to happen. If you want a successful marriage, what are you going to do? What are you going to put in motion so that then you will have that emotion? You will have those feelings that you really want. You've got to put forth the work. You've got to put forth the effort. And then you'll be able to see it. What is your cue card? Your excuse card. And I have a bunch of these later if you guys want them. Actually, I want you to have them. In life, when you're playing cards, right? If you're playing Uno, what's the most powerful card you can have? Draw 4 wild card, right? If you said wild, go read the directions. The draw 4 wild card is what you really want to have. Because when you play that card, you have all power, right? Anybody says anything about it, your excuse is, well, I've got the wild card. You can't question what I'm doing. So what are your excuses that are keeping you from doing things? I'm not pretty enough. I'm too old for that. I'm a single parent. You don't get it. I would, but I don't have the money. Ah, man, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I'm too old. It's too hard. You ever hear those? And many, many more. What is your cue card? Now, I got to tell you a story really quick. I'm going to tell you what mine is and why it's called the Q card. It stands for quadriplegic. Because I can get a lot of things, right? Really, I can manipulate others' feelings and emotions to get what I want. Because, are you guys going to tell me no? Seriously. If you're like the guard and you're trying to keep people out and I came up and I gave a good excuse, would you let me in? Yes. And I know that. But I have to control that. So here's a perfect excuse. If this is my excuse card, okay? The why it's the Q card. My wife and I, after my second neck break, we were down in Utah doing some therapy. And it was our anniversary. We had a sick child, been throwing up all day. I had been at therapies and doctor's appointments. And I said, honey, we got to do something for our anniversary. And so we decided we'll just do something simple, dinner and a movie. The babysitter was late. So we're cruising down the road trying to get to our dinner and a movie. And I said, honey, we just don't have time to do both. I said, which is more important? She said, well, let's go to the movie. I want to see that movie. And then, boom, brilliant idea by romantic husband Nathan. The movie theater is part of the mall. So let's just go to the food court. That's a great romantic anniversary dinner. So we cruise there, we get to the dinner. I said, hey, what would you like? She's like, I'm pregnant. I want it all. So we split up. We grab our stuff. She got like half a pizza. And the movie starts in 5 minutes. So we shove all our food in the back of a little backpack sitting in my chair. And we're cruising. We get our tickets for the movie theater. And we're now don't judge me. All of you have snuck something into a theater. Just not a 7-course meal. So we're cruising down the little aisle. The guy's at the end. He's going to take our tickets and tell us which theater to go to. So as we're cruising down the aisle, I'm sitting there holding these tickets, and my wife's pushing me, and I thought, oh, man, we are going to hit the end. The smell's going to come past us. He's going to notice it and kick us out on our anniversary. So here's what I did. We're about to the guy. I set the tickets on my leg. We stop. The guy goes, can I have your tickets? And I went, tickets? Movie? Tickets? I know, it's bad. It's terrible. I never should have done that. I get it. Don't judge me. I know. But I did it, and he quickly picked it. Oh, sure, here you go. Theater 6, you're on your way. We got to watch the movie, eat our meal on our anniversary. It worked. Is it bad that we got to do that we got to eat our meal while we were watching the movie? No. All of you probably wish you could have done that. It's that I manipulated that guy who barely makes minimum wage to get something I wanted and felt that I deserved, because I put myself above everyone. You know what? It's our anniversary. We have a sick child. My wife's pregnant, and I'm paralyzed. We deserve it. You don't. I do. I used my cue card, my excuse. That needs to stop. You guys are more powerful than that. We had every excuse not to do this event, but we did it anyway. And every time an excuse came up, we pushed it aside and we found an answer. That is exactly what it's going to be in your life, in your families, in your work, in your marriage, whatever it is. There's going to be excuses that are constantly barraging you. You have to figure out how to take those excuses and pick them up first. Take those excuses and just get rid of them. Figure out how to control it. And that's what you want. Whatever you're trying to do, that's what you want. Fight for the feeling. Not the trophy. Fight for the feeling that comes with it. Thank you, guys.